Also Italian bread, anybody want this?
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone. So the meeting is live streaming now.
Yep.
So early. I think we still have 10 minutes.
Yeah, so everything's live, so be careful what you say.
I'm scared.
Ready? The internet, Lauren? Sophie R., hi, how are you? Could you put your last name in, please?
Good evening, everyone. I think it's the 6 p.m. So we have a intensive agenda tonight. So I would like to kick it off right away. I know Mr. Newman would like to go first. But okay, thank you, Vito. So yeah, the PA meeting is a recording. Is Mr. Newman in? I don't see him. If not, Leslie here. So both Leslie and Mr. Newman would like to speak first, but let me see. Leslie, are you here? Mr. Newman? No?
I haven't seen them yet.
Okay, but they would like to speak first.
Leslie's here.
Okay, Leslie, yeah, our VP of fundraising, co-VP of fundraising. And Leslie, you here? Say hi, Leslie, you're here. You are on mute, Leslie. I think I see you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm here.
Okay, yeah, so you may go first. I know you have other engagement later.
Yes. Hi, good evening, everyone. I have my other PA meeting for my kids' other school. So just some brief updates as far as fundraising. I'm not sure if Ting is on and she may have some as well. Where the gala and the tickets are available. So make sure you guys purchase your tickets before they sell out. We do have a discount right now or a pre ticket price. So make sure you take advantage of that. We're looking for donations, every type of donation, some big ticket item donations. So if you guys would like to donate, please click on that link to do so. The gala will be at Roulette. It's close to Barclays, so it should be pretty easy for everyone to get to. And then we're doing picture day to be announced, the actual day. I'm sorry. One sec. Okay. I'm sorry. My husband is getting in the car. So we're having picture day. We'll announce those dates and time. This would be an offer, and it is optional for 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. It doesn't interfere at all with senior photos. This is just optional for those families who would like to take advantage of that. Trying to think of everything else. That's pretty much it. We will have merchandise also at sale at the gala. We'll have the auction going on soon. For the online auction, there'll be an in-person raffle, a lot of goodies. So make sure you guys come out to that gala. It's one of our biggest fundraisers for the year. That was really it for me. I'm not sure if I forgot anything, Tiffany, if you want to jump in, or Ting. Thank you, guys.
I think she got everything.
Go ahead, Tiffany.
No, I said I think she got everything.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Leslie. So is Mr. Newman in?
Still haven't seen him.
Okay, then I think we may move to our next item while we are waiting for him. Is Tiffany would go first, or Ken? Ken, would you like to go first for the treasurer report?
Yes, so, but
Yeah, I will
you-
share screen.
Thank you. I cannot share for some reason with my old laptop. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I think this is it's pretty much the same chart that I share each month, but the numbers being changed. So starting with income with an increase of about $32,000, our total revenues reached $260,000 as of February, representing about 78% of our total target. And then quickly turning to expenses shown in the red bars, we spent about $78,000 in the month of February. The majority of the spending are shown on the slide, and I will talk in some greater details next slide for some of the items. But since our total income is less than our expenses, we are currently facing a deficit of about $5,000 as of February. The deficit is funded by our cash reserve, which was at $475,000 as of the end of the month. So next slide, please. The Lunar New Year fundraising event came to a successful conclusion in February, and I would like to take a few minutes to share with you the results tonight. I think it's important that we have some comparisons so that you can see how we performed this year comparing to the past. 2020 was the last in-person event before the pandemic, which had a lingering effect on many of us even today. In 2020, we raised close to $13,000, and 2023 was the first in-person event after COVID, and we took in almost 20,000. This year, 2024, we double what we did in 2023 by generating almost $39,000 for the PA. This is a record high, and I just want to say and to thank everybody that it is impossible without the tireless efforts from everybody, and especially Sharon and Kim and all of the countless volunteers working behind the scene to make this a success. So with $39,000 from the event, the PA was able to fund the remaining balance of the teacher's wish list invoice. But more importantly, we also funded 2 diversity initiatives, such as the Culture Fair and the Black Student Union Assembly. In addition, the entire PA believes that no senior should be left behind. There are a few seniors either in temporary housing or their families facing financial hardship. We want everybody to have the opportunity to walk across the stage on June 18th at Barclays. So the PA is proud to sponsor their senior dues. The message I'm trying to put out is we use Lunar New Year as a community building event to help various aspects in our Brooklyn Tech community. And we come together as a community, and you're going to hear more of that tonight. We are proud to do so, and will continue to do so in the future. With that mindset, and with the wonderful team that we have, with the wonderful volunteers that work tirelessly behind the scene, I'm confident that 2025 and beyond will have another successful Lunar New Year fundraising. This basically concludes my remarks, and I think we have a bigger agenda for tonight, so turn it back to you, Mia and Tiffany. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. You have said what I wanted to say, so thank you so much. Then Vito, do you see Mr.
Mr. Newman is here.
Okay, good. Then over to you, Mr. Newman.
So I've been asked a couple of things, but then I'll just open it up for some more general questions. One, tomorrow is our open house for accepted students. That would be students that would enroll for obviously next September. So we're opening up the building, and we have hundreds of students showing them around and talking to the accepted students. Once again, these are students, as you will know, probably know that might, probably have another offer besides a specialized high school. Maybe you're choosing between a specialized high school and a private school, or a religious school, or any type of private school. It's their chance to come see the building so they can make their decision, which they have to make shortly. So that is tomorrow evening. And thanks for all the PA support for that event. We surely couldn't do it without your partnership. To segue into another matter, I've been asked to talk a little bit about where I know that there's going to be a number of people talking about drug use and abuse and in our community and with our children. And I've been asked to talk about the status of where we are with Narcan. And so to tell you this, our nurse currently is the only person in the building that possesses Narcan. And actually you're going to hear from Miss Ford, who's going to give you a little bit of training as well, and talk to you about all the staff has been trained on Narcan. And Ms. Ford also has Narcan in the building, but the nurse is the primary person who does have Narcan and can use it as she sees fit. I think I said before, and Ms. Ford will talk about as well, currently all the faculty have been trained in utilizing Narcan, but currently the only people who really have Narcan in the building are the nurse and Ms. Ford herself. Anyway, so I didn't know if anybody want to say anything more or ask any more questions about that. Anyway, I'll open the floor to questions about anything under the sun. It doesn't have to be about open house or anything like that. If you had any questions that were percolating in your own mind. Anything? Yeah, what do you got, Mia?
No, I didn't see any question, but I just wanted to say either people can raise your hand or put your questions in the chat box. Usually we use the Q&A session, but because today Ms. Newman speak first. So any questions for Mr. Newman?
Mia, can I say something?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Sharon. So I got a question from one parent from WeChat group. It seems there's a concern like for parents who only speak Chinese. So when they need to reach out to Mary, so it seems that they have a difficulty to communicate. So they ask if they can put their request in Chinese, then can school can still help?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we could translate obviously all emails or all correspondence that you sent instantly. I don't need anybody to do that. We could do that instantly. We do have if people have concerns about Mary, particularly not speaking Chinese, or being able to write Chinese or read Chinese. Once again, we have translation services, but we do actually have a person who is fluent in Chinese just like right across the hall from Mary. And so that really has worked where Mary needs somebody. And so she just literally goes across the hall and gets that person, and then that person translates or has the conversation. And that person is somebody who's been working with us for a very long time and has a great connection to parent engagement. So that person, Miss Ivy Chan, could really answer probably all the questions that come herself. But I think that they formed a really good team, whereas they work together. And so people shouldn't be afraid that if I write something in Chinese, for example, that the principal's not going to get back to them or Mary's not going to get back to them. As I said, we can translate those documents like literally with one button, but also they shouldn't feel that they can't call Mary or call somebody else, and especially Mary, because they might have to wait on the phone for 30 seconds, but then all of a sudden they'll be speaking to somebody that is fluent. So I understand there's apprehension, but try reaching out, and I think you'll find that that will assuage any fears you have and be able to communicate quite effectively, quickly.
All right, thank you, Mr. Newman. I will take the message and relay it to them. Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to add on that, and Ms. Newman can confirm if the information is still accurate or not. So I think the AP the AP language has arranged someone, the ENL coordinator, Miss Jia Zili,
Santiago.
to answer the phone during 2:08 to 3:34. So you can call directly during this time and speak in Mandarin. So she will answer your phone and
Yeah, so she's in my office, so I just want to differentiate. So she is not in Ivy is across the hall and pairs up with Mary. But the person you're talking about, the ENL coordinator, who is fluent and is a teacher of Chinese, actually is in my office for about an hour and a half every day, starting at 2 o'clock to about 3:30. So that would be, helpful as well.
yeah. So you can call directly, yeah, and speak in Mandarin is totally fine.
So what would be the number? Can you list in the chat?
It's 6511.
Okay, thank you.
I will add it in Tactile, so then it's easy to try back.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Mr. Newman?
Someone's asking, can a student have Narcan themselves if the nurse is the only one? Since the nurse only has one supply, are students allowed to bring Narcan?
Students are not allowed to have Narcan in the building currently. And the nurse has ample supply. I don't want you to think she just has like one, and then if it's used, she has none. But she is the sole person that we've allowed to utilize it. She has plenty of it, but she's the one who's going to administer it. But we have other people who are backup, and I don't want to, steal the conversation about from Miss Ford, but she did, as I said, give a training to literally the entire staff, and we're at a point now that we're going to have staff who reach out who feel comfortable having it, and then we'll get into their possession eventually as well. But currently, right now, like today, there's 2 people in the building that have ample supply and are the authorized people to use it.
Thank you. Hua, you have raised your hand. Do you have questions? You may speak.
Sure, Mia. I'd like to add on that the Sharon's question. I myself is an interpreter and working for a language line, and I get plenty of DOE school calls. So I know that other schools, they do use interpretation services for IEP meetings and important parent meetings. So I would say that, for parents who don't comfortable speaking English directly with their teachers or school staff, and they can request their corresponding languages, and they only have to request it. I believe this is. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, I think that's the case. If you would like to request any language, to be used during the meeting with the teacher, you may make a request, and the school will arrange that. Any other questions for Mr. Newman?
I have a question about graduation.
Okay.
I wanted to know, how many tickets do families get for graduation?
Oh, that's a good question. I think we're at 4 right now. And then you could, and then there is a way to ask if you somehow need, for some reason, need additional tickets. Also, we will be collecting, information on people who won't be using all 4 of their tickets to help people that might need more.
If it's at Barclays, is there a limitation though, given the space?
Yeah, so what they do is they give us, we have the entire arena, obviously not behind the stage. So the stage goes across like the front, where if you've ever been to a concert there, very similar, right? So people can't sit behind the stage. So that like kills like part of the U, right? All the way up. They also don't give us the very, very upper tier, which I believe is like the 200 tier. So we have the 100 tier and then the ground. And so yeah, so I think we're talking about seating, you know, roughly give or take, it would be like 10,000 minus the U. So we might be talking about like 6,000 available seats. Now that's not for the kids. The kids sit on the floor. So that's not what that doesn't they literally sit in folding chairs like on the floor, like where the Nets would play, you know? And so there's 6,000 seats available to everybody else. So you take 1,500 kids, you times 4, and you're at 6,000. That's what we got.
Okay, so there's a way to ask for more. We'll be told how to do that.
Yeah. They'll send you a survey and no promises, but they'll also send a survey for people like if you're not using all the tickets or whatever. And so they will likely, as years pass, your tickets will come, they'll like give you a link or something, and then you'll be able to like just get your tickets virtually.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Newman, there's one question for tomorrow open house. So do the students need an adult to go with them, or are they allowed to go by themselves or with friends?
Yeah, they could go by themselves, you know, or with friends, I guess. Sure. We are encouraging families to come with their kids, but if just the kid wants to come, and you know, that's fine too. They're not going to be turned away if they don't have an adult with them.
Okay. So
sorry, Mia, sorry, one more question from WeChat group. Some senior parents as do seniors still need to go to school after the graduation ceremony?
I think graduation is over at like 6 o'clock at night. So I don't think they have to go to school after that.
I
Oh,
think
you
they
need any
did
more
the last
days?
day. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, until the last day of the school. I
I don't think there's any more days of school. I think all the days afterwards, I'm just talking off the top of my head, but I think all the other days, the days afterwards, like right after that, you know, Regents Week has already started with graduation days, the 18th. There's like off the top of my head, like US History and Global History Regents that day. And so we're already, like classes are over. So
Okay.
already. So finals week has ended already and Regents already begun. So at that point, you only come into school if you're taking a Regent. So a senior might have to come in if they have a Regent, but that is fairly rare. Usually a senior has taken all their Regents classes and exams in prior years.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. Raise your hand if you would like to speak, you know, and then I will call your name.
Two more questions. One is graduation live streamed again this year?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah, I wish Miss Massey was here, but I believe so. Yep.
Okay, and another question in regards to the drop lunch form. It indicated it had to do with mental health. My child had no idea what it meant. What is the drop lunch option for?
Yeah, so the mental health aspect of is us trying to say we'd rather you not drop lunch. We heavily encourage you to have lunch. It's not just about having lunch, having food. It's about a break at some point in the day between all your rigorous classes. So it's as much a chance to be fed as it is to take a meaningful academic pause. I mean, and so the reason that the form exists is that if you've gotten yourself in a predicament where you want to take all these classes but can't fit them all, you might be in a situation where something's got to give and lunch is it, right? We heavily recommend you do not opt out of lunch, but if for some reason you feel like you want to take all these classes, then a parent can sign off and opt out of lunch. This normally happens when you have, I don't know, I'm gonna just talk off the top of my head. You're taking BC calculus, but also want an AP and a science, both of those being double period. I can't imagine you taking BC and AP physics, let's say, and being able to have a lunch. And so, especially if you want to throw a orchestra or chorus on top of that, right? And so these are the type of decisions which end you up with no lunch. And so yeah, so that's that. It is rare, but it happens. And we heavily discourage opting out of lunch to take an additional class.
Go ahead, Felix.
Hi, Principal Newman. I've had a number of junior parents asking about the SAT coming up. I believe it's mid-April and over 2 days. So I know we've broken up since this is going to be on the computer for the first time. So we've confirmed before that there are enough computers, but some of the parents are asking if we've given exams at that scale on those computers before, or has there been testing that everything is, so there's no surprises on the day of the exam.
Yeah, I mean, you never know, right? But so you gave a lot of information there and all accurate. And I just want to bounce off that as well. So your child will be assigned, we're talking about, of course, juniors now. Your child will be assigned the SAT to take either morning of Thursday, afternoon of Thursday, or Friday morning. We're talking about April 10th and 11th, I think, if that's a Thursday and a Friday. So there's 3 different sessions. You will be assigned to one of them. That's your session. You got to go, right? To your session, right? When you don't come into school when it's not your session to go. We have done things large scale like this on computers and things are fine. You never know about the signal itself. I don't say that as in it goes out all the time. We have plenty of bandwidth in the school to handle this. But you never know. There have been occasions, I mean, I don't want to like jinx it, but there have been occasions where the DOE like internet goes out for the entire city. That happens. It seems like that happens once or twice a year. Hopefully it won't be on that day. So yeah, the SAT in particular are not being taken on laptops, are being taken on regular PCs that are towers and whatnot, not laptops. And the difference there is laptops work off Wi-Fi, even though it's the same signal, and the desktops are hardwired in, and so thus less problems. And so the kids on the PSAT will actually be taking on laptops. The desktops will be the SAT. I'm not saying that I'm minimizing the PSAT, but if there's going to be a problem, I'd obviously rather it be on the if I had to choose, not on the SAT. All that being said, I don't foresee any problems whatsoever. You also have to realize that the number of kids that at any given time that are on computers in our school is far greater number than the ones that are going to be sitting for the SAT at any one of these 3 sessions, and so we every single day we are used to all of our computers being used all the time, and we've not come up with bandwidth issues this year or towards the end of last year after we we greatly expanded our bandwidth. So yeah, fingers crossed, but I don't perceive any problems. And once again, I want to emphasize that on any given time in our classes, we utilize more computers than we're going to utilize at that time. So and of course, we also have on our bandwidth kids using their phones and other things that wouldn't be happening.
Yeah,
And if
Mr. Newman,
they
there's
wanted
another.
I'm sorry, if they wanted to opt out, if they didn't want to take the SAT, what is the process? Like if they took it individually or
You just don't
how do
show
they
up.
notify? They just don't come. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this, you're going to be probably marked absent for the day, which is like whatever, not the biggest deal in the world. But yeah, I mean, I would expect that they would want another opportunity to take the SAT. Look, if you took the SAT already and you got an amazing score, like I get like why take it again? And so but only in that situation would I be I wouldn't want somebody to be like, well, I'm planning on taking the SAT 2 weeks later, so I'm not going to take it. I don't know if that's the greatest choice, but if somebody really got a good number that they're happy with and they've already taken it, no reason to sweat it out and take it again. You're not doing yourself any favors to try to get a little tiny bit of a higher score. Yeah.
Okay,
so-
thank you,
so-
Ms. Newman.
yeah.
Because I know you have a limited time, and so no more question. But I will finish those questions already there. And the one people raise your hand. Sorry, when you lower your hand. Okay, Ellen. Yeah, I know. I noticed that you have been raised your
I
hand.
know, sorry, Mia, when you said no more questions, I lowered my hand.
Yeah, no problem.
That's
Yeah, we
fine. I
will
got
take the
you. I
question
got
already
you,
there,
Jenny.
but no more new questions. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
so
go
then
ahead.
I'll try to make it real quick, but I can't remember what I did with my senior, but for my freshman, how do we find or contact who our guidance counselor is? Or do you discourage freshmen from doing that? Or when should we start? And how do we do that?
I mean, if you're talking, I don't know if you're talking specifically about like the college piece or just reaching out to your guidance counselor based on academics, but whatever it is, right? You should never feel that it's too early or you shouldn't reach out to, the student's guidance counselor. You have any concerns at all academically, that's what they're there for. They're there
Like on
for,
class selection, but how do I find out who it is, or how do I find their email address, or other means to contact them? Should the student show up to their office? I don't know what to do with that.
I got it. So
My
so
senior was on Zoom when he started, so it's all different now.
yeah. So they when you go in, you could see their prefect, and then their prefect is aligned with a counselor. So then you can
You
look
can
at the
email me, Ellen. Email Mary. Hugh.
Okay, email Mary. That's even
And
better.
also, if you're
Email
in
Mary.
Jupiter, if you have Jupiter, the guidance counselor's name is usually on Jupiter.
Yes,
Ah,
You have to kind of search around for it, but if you
I'll
go
try
into
again,
profile-
Mary, and if I don't find it, I'll ask you. And that's
Okay.
not just their name, but like an email address or whatever preferred method of
But you
contact.
can email her through Jupiter also.
Ah,
You can
Mary,
email
can
all
I-
your teachers through Jupiter.
Mary, Alan, you can find that on the program. The
It's scheduled.
counseling's
It's
name
for
is
the
on the
schedule
schedule.
also.
Okay, and then you
Yeah.
can go from there. Okay, sorry.
how do you
You
go
can
from
also
there?
ask your
Like, where's the-
child.
Okay, I want to let you all go. But how do you go from there if you know their name? If you find their name on the schedule, like you still can't contact them that way. I'll try the
You can
avenues that are
contact
ready.
them through the website, the faculty directory.
Thank you both. Thank you all.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I
Yeah,
see
And
that-
okay.
on Jupiter, if you know your name, you can type their name into Jupiter and contact them.
So there's one more question is about the PSAT. Any PSAT prep available for freshmen who want a head start on studying?
Not school-based, no. We don't provide that for freshmen. Yeah, not on the PSAT. There's another question about classes on the day of the PSAT and SAT. Freshmen do not have classes those days, not in the school.
Okay, thank you. I think that's all for the question for Mr. Newman. And the other questions in the chat, I mean, Mary or other board members can answer those questions. If you can answer those questions, then ask that. Because we have to really move forward, we have a intensive agenda today. I know Tiffany has some reports or updates. Tiffany, you can
No,
go
we
first.
should move on, and I could do it in the conclusion.
Oh, okay. Then is mom here? Is the mom here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's here.
Let me see.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you for being here to share your daughter's story. Yeah, so you really appreciate it. So please go ahead and maybe you can introduce yourself as comfortable as you like.
yeah, I'm definitely not very comfortable, so it takes a lot, strengths to come out just openly like that. But anyway, I just prepared like a little speech. So I hope it's okay if I just go ahead and read and maybe talk a little bit. So my name is Ludmila Tarelkin. I have two students in Brooklyn Tech, so older kid and my younger one who passed away. So of course I want to thank you, PA and school administration for giving me this opportunity to, just to have this like open dialogue with me. It's like you prove your sincere dedication to the safety of our students. I really appreciate that. So as you probably know, we lost our daughter. I mean, you all know because I shared the story, so hopefully you all read it. She was 14, she was freshman, and she spent her first 3 months in Brooklyn Tech. So yeah, we're of course in terrible pain. It's tough to speak, but we consider to keep story secret because it was very heavy on us. Just the reason why it happened, and but then we decided that keeping it secret, it puts so many lives in danger. So we just didn't realize how huge this issue is. And since she passed, I already heard some other stories of young children, passing from it. So it's really, really scary. But anyway, maybe just before kind of talking about what I found out, I just want to maybe express my regret that Brooklyn Tech community didn't get to know my daughter Sasha Alexandra Tarelkin better. She was very, 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 very good girl. She was a very good student. She was a good friend. She was she had great potential. So as for our family, we were we were just ordinary, like hardworking people. We worked late hours just to provide for our children. And like every night I wake up at 3 a.m. And I'm just thinking, like, what did we do wrong? Like so many questions and regrets. It's like, maybe we work late hours. And
Explain how they had to work late all the time.
And maybe we just allowed we didn't there was no kind of diligent supervision on her screen time, because we were out, we were working, and everyone was working. My older child works too. So maybe we failed to recognize some underlying mental issues. But she was one of the happiest we knew, really. She was really at least what she showed to us in family, she was always laughing. We didn't notice anything, no problems, no depression or anything, no anxiety. Well, some apathy maybe toward works. So when she started Brooklyn Tech, she complained about that it was too much, but she always completed all assignments. She never was late. And we had parent-teacher conference, and teachers they obviously didn't share that they noticed anything. So that was something about I wanted to ask if there's any protocol for teachers if they see something is going on with a child, if they see, I don't know, because here we come late, so we already see a child either in front of the computer doing homework or just in bed already, So, but in school, teachers see students every day, and they see their faces and they see how they are. So I wanted to ask, what is the protocol for teachers if they, if they see red eyes, if they see the child is, I don't know, under influence. So anyway, so yeah, so for us, it was lots of questions. Maybe we put too much academic pressure on her, but I just want to say maybe to everyone, to Brooklyn Tech community who maybe worries about it. So my child, she found group of people, and they were definitely they influenced her decisions. So they were outside of Brooklyn Tech, and it seems like the most of the activity it happened somewhere else. I'm not sure because the police doesn't give us her phone. We don't have her phone, and all her activities are recorded on the phone. So I cannot say if any activity was happening in Brooklyn Tech in bathrooms. But I also heard that, you know, I don't know if it's rumors or not, but I know that some children are aware that, you know, some sort of activity is going on, whether it's marijuana, whether it's something more serious, I don't know. It just, so I wanted also to ask, what is the protocol in school for tracing this kind of activities? And how do you contact parents, and if parents can be made aware, or if something like that happening. Yeah, so that's for school. But you know, we were so happy when we got in this school. Sasha was so happy when she got in Brooklyn Tech. Brooklyn Tech is amazing. I don't blame you guys for anything. Like whatever happened just happened beyond, as I said. And I really appreciate for all the support that just was pouring to us from Principal Newman, from all the administration. They were very, very, very supportive and went above and beyond. Yeah, thank you very much. And for parents there, I don't know, you know, like our struggles, whatever struggles are, you know, like teenagers are. So it's really hard to find out what exactly is happening with your child sometimes, because they're like so secretive. And even though if you know your child, and even though you think, oh, they're so smart, they're got into Brooklyn Tech, they passed all the tests, they were gifted, talented, you know, they participated here and there and there and there. So apparently it's still not the reason to trust your child completely with making decisions in life. And we trusted our child completely, just 100%. There were no reason to suspect anything. We trusted her so much, and it was a big mistake. So apparently sometimes environment, she goes to out of home, out of the safe place at home. When she goes out there, so there's so many dangers, and there's and this influence of the environment, of peer pressure. And sometimes it's like it's much worse. It overweighs whatever your morals are, whatever your raising is, how you raise your kids. And you try so hard, but still it's one wrong decision. I don't know how it happened, but wrong decision it's derailed the lives of so many people. So, trust your children, but definitely control, watch them, control them, suspect, be suspicious, I would say, even if you see. And I would like, definitely, I would love to hear more about the signs, because we missed, if there were any signs, we missed them. So, again, thank you so much for your attention, and I really hope that this fate will avoid, and my Sasha will be the only Sasha, the only child who died in New York City. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being so brave to share your story. Yeah, it's for the good of the community. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So next one speaker is should talk similar topic is Miss Ramona Richardson. Are you here?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, so Miss Richardson is the sepsis counselor in school, right?
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ramona Richardson. Everybody here calls me Miss Ramona. I am the substance abuse prevention intervention specialist here at Brooklyn Tech. So part of my job is to go into the classrooms and talk to kids about alcohol and other drugs. Part of my job is to give out information so that kids know about alcohol and other drugs. And part of my job is that if kids are using, then they can come to me and they can talk and we can find ways for them to lessen their use. We can find ways for them to stop using. And if it is something that can't be done where they need extra help, then I'm also a place where they can go for resources. The other thing is that sometimes it doesn't have anything at all to do with alcohol and drugs. Sometimes kids just need some place to go to talk to someone who they feel, you know, can hear them, who's open to hear what they have to say. And that in itself can be one of the ways that one of the protective factors to stop them from turning to alcohol and drugs when they are looking for something to help them with stress or whatever might be going on in their lives. So that is my title here. I was one of the people that helped during the last 2 weeks ago with the assemblies with Ms. Ford, where we talked about fentanyl and we talked about the dangers of fentanyl and letting kids know that there are people here in the building that they can talk to and people who they can reach out to if there is something going on with them. I know that it said that one of the things that I was going to do was to tell the signs, how you can tell. But I think that a more important conversation is the conversation about talking to your kids about what you yourself, what you think about alcohol and drug use, okay? I go into the classrooms and one of the questions that I ask the kids in the classrooms is, what are the messages that you've heard from your family about alcohol and other drugs? And sometimes I get the answers like, we don't talk about it. There is no, we have no talk, there is no messages, or I just know what my parents want, but there's never been that conversation. So just from you, like, if you think that, where do you think kids are getting the messages about alcohol and drugs if they're not getting them from you? Who do you think they're turning to?
Media. Their fellows.
Their friends.
Media, their friends, right? Media is a big one. TV shows, the TV shows, Instagram, yep, social media. Those are the places that they are turning to for the messages about alcohol and other drugs. Drug dealers, yeah. And drugs that are legal for adult use, like alcohol, nicotine, and now especially marijuana, they are the most socially acceptable and the most frequent starting point for most young people's use. So if your kid is not having any conversation or has no messages from you about what you believe, what your positions are on drug use for them, then they're going to turn to their friends in social media and TV shows on how they should react when maybe it's being offered to them or they're at a party. All of those things are going to be the voices that they hear because they have no other place to turn for those messages. So my biggest thing to say to all of you is to have that conversation with your kids. It might be one of the most uncomfortable conversations you have with your kid, but you need to have those conversations with your kids. You need to let them know what you believe about young people's alcohol and or other drug use, okay? I think that those are the most important thing that needs to be said, that they have to hear something from you. And not just that, but also the idea that if your kid does find themselves in a position where they are being offered alcohol and drugs, then what should they do next in those situations? Because their friends' voices are definitely louder than yours.
Ms. Richardson, also want to add that, you know, it's not only drugs, you know, like so many pills that children or young people or whoever, they think it will help them to concentrate, it will help them to sleep better, whatever is there. Just now it's laced with fentanyl. It's really, really scary. I follow one Instagram account. They just post non-stop about people who die for different reasons. Even marijuana, they say, is laced, and children as young as 11 years old, you know, they die from it. It is.
I feel like that one of the main things is, and someone said, and model behavior we want to see, and that's also part of it too. I mean, yes, we're adults, and there is a different, you know, there's a different set of rules for adults, but then at the same time, you can't have your child believing that you think that it's okay if they smoke weed or if they drink alcohol or if they smoke a little bit, if they smoke cigarettes, because they have no other thing to go off of other than the fact that they see you do it, okay? And making consequences for those actions if they do. Right before I had this conversation, before I came here, I was talking to a group of students. We were sitting in my office and we were talking about, well, what do you think as a kid, what do you think that parents should do in a situation like this? And they all wholeheartedly said that parents should have that conversation with us. And if there are consequences to this type of behavior, then the consequences should be meted out. Is that the word I want? You can't just say you're going to do something and then not do it. So that is my advice.
Miss Ramona.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Yang. My son is at Brooklyn Tech. He's a 10th grader. And we have had several conversations about drug use. My husband and I have told him that ideally, like, we really don't want our son to do anything, right? We don't want him to take any sort of drugs. And ideally, you know, we tell him, like, that's what we would like to see. We would like to see him to make the right decisions. However, he is his own person.
He is.
I cannot control him. I can't go to parties with him. I can't follow him everywhere, right? So I just hope that we have, through these conversations, how do I make sure that he could make the right decisions for himself? Because that's not 100% guaranteed, right? He's gonna make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But it's just, I think that's my struggle, is that we have conversations. Is it really going through? Is he really comprehending it? Is he really going to make those right choices for himself?
I think also giving kids the tools to be able to make those decisions. I mean, just say no. It's a good idea, but just say no and do what else? Like, do you just say no and then you go, okay, well, whatever. Like, what do you do? What else do you do? Do you just say no and then you walk out the party? Or do you just say no and then you just go hang out with a group of kids who, you know, aren't doing anything? Like, what are the tools that you're also giving your kids so that they know that there are other things for them to do? What are the other tools? Like, just say no is okay, yeah, but what else can you do?
I mean, we do tell him, you know, look to your friends who are making the right choices, who have good heads on their shoulders. You know, model yourself after those kind of friends. But I know that I'm very naive in a way in that thinking. At the same time, when we had those conversations about not using drugs, I also told him, I know that I can't control you. I won't know 100% exactly what happens when you go off on your own. And I just said, if you do happen to use something, if you do happen to like use drugs, you have to know what's in them. You have to be safe about it. You need to make sure that you have friends around you in case something happens. I mean, I try to be realistic about it as well. But at the same time, I told him, I really would like just for you to not use it, period. And I told him that it starts with, small amounts. No one goes into like using drugs thinking I'm going to become a drug addict, right? No one does
Nobody.
that, right?
I say that to the kids every time I go into a class. No one says that.
And I tell my son this too. And I tell him, I said, people start with the softer things. And then it could take, it takes time. And then next thing you know it, someone could be a drug addict. And I tell him, I said, you guys are targets, like teenagers right now, you guys are the targets for, they want to get you guys hooked. So, I try to, it's not a scared hat tactic exactly, but I tell them, I said, we just recently had this conversation a few days ago about people, and I tell them, I say, drug abuse, drug addicts, it's an addiction. That's why they call it an addiction. It's a disease. It's a demon, right? And I tell him, I said, there are people who somehow have overcome their addictions. They fight it every single day. And then there are people who die from it, who just completely succumb to it. Sorry, this is kind of
it's emotional, yes.
So,
it is.
I just want to know that I'm getting through. I think that's, and I know that I can't control him, right? He is his own person. And I just want, it's like, how do I have that peace of mind, when he does go to a party? And
may I just share something that listen, my child isn't full grown and an adult yet, but I found
sorry,
something hopefully. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I see. I mean, if you want to speak, raise your hand. But I do see Corin raise your hand. So Corin, you have the floor.
Oh, I just wanted to share that because I had a close family member who was an addict for a long time. I talk very honestly. I mean, I censor what the serious aspects of it are, but I do talk honestly and openly with both my kids, even I have a younger son, about the consequences of that behavior and how it affected the trajectory of their life. And we're so fortunate that they did recover and they are no longer an addict or they're no longer on drugs. But I think expressing how just trying to relate to them situations I've been in and what I thought about. Like, yes, I wanted to look cool with my friends, but at the same time, I really wanted to get out of my small town and I wanted to go to a good college. And that was part of my decision making on I can't get distracted from my goals. And this is something that's going to prevent me from reaching my goals. And I'm not saying that that's the best philosophy, but I approached it rather than the scare tactic that, listen, this is what you can see this family member and their struggles. These are situations I found myself in, sort of relating to them, trying to remember what it was like to be a teenager so that they felt like, okay, they kind of get the situation I'm in. Like, this is how they handled it. Maybe I could do that too. And giving them words to say like, no, man, I'm cool. Like, no, not for me. Stuff like that. And, I don't know if anyone else finds that helpful. I know one thing my mother told me that I found very helpful was that she told me, she said, I want you to know that even if it's in the middle of the night and I have to work in the morning, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you don't feel safe and you want to come home, I will come and pick you up. And there will be no questions asked. You will not be punished. You can always just call me and I will come get you. So it's like we've tried to approach it from that aspect. So I just sense the previous person's fear over not knowing what to do. So I thought that might be helpful. That's all I wanted to share.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Paul, you may speak.
Hi, good evening, everyone. And thank you, Ms. Ramona. I just wanted to know if there were like any organizations that we can partner with to help our students. I've noticed all over the city, they have a lot of these smoke shops opening up, so it's kind of hard trying to dissuade the students from using marijuana. As when I grew up, it was a gateway drug. Now it's the drug of choice. And I think this in itself provides a different message to the students. Matter of fact, there's a shop right up the block from the school.
Up the block, you come up the train station, it's right there.
Yeah, off the G.
It's right there.
Is right there. And then also, you know, so drug addiction is already a tough matter. The pandemic has also had a peculiar effect on these children. And from just being around with different sports teams that my daughter has been around, it appears like, you know, the kids need help. They're struggling. And as I can see, the parents are struggling as well. As the other parent had mentioned, I do share a lot of my early experiences growing up as a teen. I didn't have the best possible experience, but it's an experience that was able to afford me different types of outlooks to see things, to foresee certain things. All I can do is hope that I'm doing my best and hope that, you know, everything turns out when my daughter becomes an adult. But I think sharing the experiences, because when none of us are perfect and we might also be struggling, that might be something that we can do. But if there's an organization that the parent association can partner with, hopefully that might be something that we can look at, because all these drug shops open up everywhere. It's not really helpful. I can tell you my neighborhood, I think there's at least 10 in a 10-block radius.
I don't know of any places that you can partner with where it comes down to the idea of how do we talk about the smoke shops that are popping up around schools. I do know that I've asked my kids, the kids who go to school here, about whether or not, you know, what happens. Has anyone gone in there? What happens when you go in there? And from what I've heard, even then, the conversations are not, it's not like, let me see your ID. It's something other than that. So maybe getting on to the idea of if you are illegally selling to minors, then you need to be shut down.
Yeah, maybe if we possibly talk to the local precinct, maybe they can have some sort of like undercover operation. So that way they can, similar to like if a regular store is selling alcohol or cigarettes to minors, it should be something of the same.
Well, it's an illegal smoke. It's an illegal shop. I mean, the only shop that's legal in the whole New York City is the Housing Works shop downtown Manhattan. They haven't issued any licenses to anyone. That shop has been shut down twice, and they just keep opening again because there's so many shops to deal with that they just keep opening and hoping the police can't catch up with them. Supposedly there's going to be a crackdown coming up, and I'm sure it'll be shuttered again, but I'm sure it will pop up again too. So it's an illegal shop. They're all illegal. None of them
Perhaps we can, there's like some number that we can keep calling. If we keep calling and keep complaining about the same shop around the neighborhood, at least that's one measure, because I know when school is out, there's kids congregating all over in front of the shop. It's just an idea.
Yeah. Hey, folks, if you follow the New York Times on this, the problem is there's a state law. The state law currently forbids the city from closing down any of these smoke shops. This is something that needs to be resolved on the state level before the city can take any sort of action.
Yes.
Yes. Hi. I just wanted to say that to your point about the illegal shops, we live in Lower Manhattan, and not only are there so many of those, but there's actually become open air drug dealing right near our elementary school here. And while the police have not been able to completely stop it. Many neighbors have gotten together and have been effective in getting police to patrol that area. So I do think, if somebody on this call takes the lead to sort of organize people, even in a WhatsApp or something, and get collective voices, that can be very effective.
Yeah, Ken.
Hi, Miss Ramona. I think I asked you the question last year in the in-person meeting about the prevalence of vaping e-cigarettes. So that was me.
Okay. Are you
and
asking me again about the prevalence of vaping and e-cigarettes?
I think you're going to tell me about the same. I think you're going to tell me the same answer.
Actually, I'm going to tell you that from what I have heard and from what I am seeing when I go into classrooms, it's actually lessening.
Okay.
I feel like they're getting this message now that vaping is as bad as smoking cigarettes. And like some people have said, like, some kids are like, you're not going to push that on me, and I don't want to be a part of you pushing that on me. So I think that there hasn't been as many kids being referred to me for vaping. And also when I go into the classrooms and talk about vaping, there's less and less kids being like, yeah, that is something I do. I do understand why people are vaping. And also I noticed that a couple of people said that they have seniors, and their seniors are saying that it's a little like it's not being pushed on them as seniors. And I could see that. But when you're younger and you're still really trying to find your way and you're trying to fit in, being able to find a group of kids who you can immediately bond with, that's very important. So if your kids are doing other things, like if they're involved in a club, if they are involved in sports, this is why I'm the advisor for so many kids, for so many clubs, because doing positive alternatives is actually a deterrent. And the more things that they're doing that they are involved with, that they like doing, then they're less likely to turn to alcohol and drugs for something to do.
Okay, thank you. And then I guess my follow-up question is, look, I'm not advertising for any of these products, but if you read the New York Times or follow the media, there's something called Zyn that's been popping up, pretty popular, especially not so much in the Northeast, but in other parts of the country. It's basically a nicotine pouch. You put it in your mouth, and it's pretty much undetectable. I mean, I don't think the teachers will come to you and say, "Open your mouth." I mean, that's some area that teachers may not go into.
Right.
But it's packaging as icebreaker. I've heard, if you read the New York Times, if you read the news articles, parents often think that that's just a pack of gum. It's packaging very similar to candies, I guess, for the lack of better terms. And I've heard the use in Brooklyn Tech. I've heard the use of it in other specialized high schools, and I guess, just the way we are these days. So I just want to relay your message that talk to your kids, have an open conversation, because in a few years, your kids will be in college. You don't have any control of them. They need to know what they will be doing. So
that's another thing. One of the things I talk to kids about too is that stuff that you're seeing on TV and in social media that's supposed to be high school behavior. That's not high school behavior. That's college behavior. We no longer live in a society where once you get out of high school, you're supposed to get married and go to work and have kids. So like trying to rush to do all of these things at this age, you're doing yourself a disservice all the way around. Like your brain is still developing, so you're hurting yourself in that way. Like you got to hide it from your parents and everyone else, and you're slipping and sliding and ducking and doing all of this stuff because people on TV and social media, like all the stuff that they're doing is really stuff that kids in college are supposed to be doing and not high school kids. Huh. I haven't heard that from the kids who I see. But I would not put it past that could also be a part of it. There's a very big trend about the way you look. There's a I mean, that's always been a thing about being a high school kid, but it's even bigger now. Someone wrote here, Bliss wrote here about warning your children about the dosage of edibles, and that is definitely one of the things that I talk about when I go into classrooms. And I have advisory teachers who are asking me to go into the classrooms, and I'm teaching other kids how to give the lessons so that they can go into the classrooms and give these lessons to kids so that they can hear these things from their peers too. That is one of the things I talk about, is the dosage of edibles, because they don't know. They don't know. They think they know everything, and they don't know as much as they think they know.
Yeah.
Yes, Claire, without a doubt.
So any other questions for Ms. Ramona? I think we covered all the questions, right?
I think so.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, to add on that, Ms. Ford will offer parents the training session. The tentative date is April 16.
Yes.
So,
do you want me to talk about it a little
yeah,
bit?
sure.
Ms. Ford is one of our social workers. She spoke with Ms. Ramona at the assemblies for students, and on April 16th, between 6 and 8, there will be 2 sessions, 1 hour each, 6 to 7 and 7 to 8. She'll just do the Narcan training for parents. If we get a big response and we want, you know, we need more sessions, she's definitely open to doing that. So we will pick the dates in Tech Talk and send out the Zoom link closer to the date, but know that that's coming up.
Thank you. Felix, you raise your hand. Do you want to speak?
Yeah, really quickly, and thank you, Ms. Ramona. That was extremely helpful. I know every child's different. So we know our kids, or we try to know our kids. So we have a general idea, I think, of what gets through, what kind of messaging, how we've gotten through to them in the past. Mine, I know, is keep them busy, so they have no time. They complain, and I have an older one in college. My youngest is a junior, and they all complain that they don't have time for much these days. But that added pressure works for some. Others, you know, the scared straight tactics may work. I did want to mention one thing, because my oldest is in college, and Narcan was mentioned, and I know there's a session coming up. Just in general, if you do give your kids, there's a whole protocol, but with kids, you know, sometimes they'll have it, something will happen, they'll give it to someone, they'll take it, they'll feel better. The important thing is to please have them, no matter how much trouble they think they might get into, please have them call 911 if someone they believe has overdosed. Even if that person feels better after taking Narcan, please have them call. Someone should see them as quickly as possible. Kids tend to, when they think the danger is over, they kind of, you know, tend to keep that a secret. They don't want to get in trouble. This is one of those things where if you arm them with the aid, please have them call 911.
Thank you, Felix. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, to add on that, PA is hosting the mental health training for parents this Saturday, and there's a few spots left. If you would like to attend, please sign up immediately. So the attendees will receive a certificate after completion. And this one is focused on youth mental health, first aid. This program will teach you how to identify, understand, and respond to signs of mental health and substance use challenges among children and teenagers. So I think that's the program this Saturday. So there's a few spots left. If you want to sign up, check out our email. Tiffany, do you have other updates?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Ms. Tarakin and Ms. Ramona again for being here with us. And I put it in the chat just now. It's been in our tech talk is to get a Narcan and test strips delivered to your home in case any parents are interested in just having an emergency kit. Other than that, I wanted to just review some important dates with everybody. So like Mia said, we have the mental health training this Saturday. You can still sign up for it. It's not too late. A reminder is April 5th, please pay for the AP exams by April 5th in the SGO store, which is cash only, or you can do it online. April 10th is no school. April 11th and 12th, those are the PSAT and SAT dates for sophomores and juniors. Seniors and freshmen will be remote. And those are also the parent-teacher conference dates. So please stay tuned for the signups. There is no school next Friday, March 29th, and the following Monday, April 1st, due to the Easter holiday. And that week, we have the Hello Dolly musical, April 4th, 5th, and 6th. So if you can support the drama club, the band, the orchestra, or the performing arts kids, that will be great. The picture day, we actually got confirmation from Mr. Newman, will be April 15th and 16th. Again, it's optional, and we will send the sign up for that as well. I know it's a lot of dates. Please check Tech Talk. Please check the school's calendar. All of this will be listed, and we will send the emails out, and the dates in Tech Talk and the individual emails for anything you have to sign up for. Again, please consider donating to the gala or reaching out to organizations or friends, family members that you know to give us some items for the gala. The bigger, the better. We're just trying to raise money, as Ken said earlier. There are just so many initiatives we're trying to take on, from supporting seniors to programs and parent trainings and all these ideas that we have, but we really do need the support to make that happen. And the gala is just one of our big fundraisers of the year. And I think that's it. We had the Queller SAT prep for juniors, which started last weekend. It's continuing this weekend. And in Tech Talk, we mentioned that there were 2 additional days, April 8th and 9th, 7 to 9 p.m. One day is for math. The other day is for ELA. She just added in some more dates because there was some confusion. So if your kid just wants to get some free, like a short prep just a few days before they take the SAT in school, and you have a junior, that's also in Tech Talk.
So for the question about the PSAT, no, currently we don't have we don't have the training.
Yeah, we don't have the PSAT training for sophomores. It's kind of like a baseline test, so to speak. They take it as sophomores, but they will repeat the PSAT the fall of junior year. So, they could study in the summer just to see how they, you could see how they do with this first test, and kind of take it from there in terms of how much studying your child needs. But we generally don't study for this first PSAT. It's just kind of like to see where they stand.
Yeah. So when is the gala again? One parent asked.
The gala, I will put it in the chat, is on a Thursday, May 23rd. As Leslie said, it's at the Roulette, which is right by Barclay Center. So it's close to the school and easy to get to.
Okay. Thank you for the updates. So I just want to have some heads up on our next PA meetings. So normally we will have elections in May during the May PA meeting. So prepare yourself. You would like to run for any positions. So all positions are open to all parents. So you can think about that and nominate yourself. And we will form a nomination committee and send out formal notice, but just to give you some heads up. And next TA meeting, we likely to revise our PA bylaws and the past bylaws. We will, as Sam, we will give you the notice. Yeah, prep for that. Just for heads up. Any other questions? Oh, okay. Then, Tiffany, do you have any more updates or any board members would like to
No, I'm
speak?
sorry. I'm just trying to get this gala link.
Mhm.
I sent the wrong one.
Yes, the election meeting is in person. So, April meeting will be next month. April meeting will be online, and then the election meeting in May will be in person. Yeah, Natalia.
It's not a question, just more a comment. I wanted to make sure that Sasha's mom knew how much impact her story was on everybody's. I don't know if she saw all the chats, but just wanted to thank her on behalf of a lot of people commenting that it was very brave and beautiful. And I know you impacted a lot of people today by sharing, took a lot of courage. So I think it's important to emphasize that again. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Ms. Loya.
Thank you. Ken, you raise your hand.
I was just reacting to Natalie's statement, and I just want to take this chance to thank you for coming out to us so briefly and openly, and it means a lot to all of us. And we hope the best for you and your family, and we can't, excuse me, we cannot thank you enough. So
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sasha. Yes, Mom. Thank you for coming and sharing your your story. Very appreciate. Okay, then I think we can
I'm sorry, Mia, there's just one more thing. A few families pre-ordered Lunar New Year merchandise and they never picked it up at the event or after. So if anybody has it, please see Mary, have your child go to Mary between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. or after school just to get the merchandise for Lunar New Year, 1W7. So please try to get it before the weekend.
Or I'm going to start wearing all the shirts all at once. Bulk up.
Cool. Cool. So
I think I would
yeah.
pay good money to see that, Mary.
All right.
Take a picture. Okay, everyone. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.